Hello YouTube, it's Jesse Webster. I said when I got an update about this gun rights situation, having my rights restored as a felon, I would, when I get further along in the process and learn more about everything, I would do an update video. And lots of people reached out to me, and some personally I know, and some just from online. So I meant to do a video about the actual steps it takes to get the process going and have your day in court. First off, I want to say this though. If you're here watching this video, you searched up for this information. Chances are the algorithm didn't show you this video. You're a felon just like me, or you know one just like me, and that's why you're looking up this information. Like a little over 7 years ago, I got out to my mom's house after serving 4 years for robbery. And I didn't have nothing. I had a couple outfits. She had got me a pair of shoes. I slept in the hallway on a mattress that I drug in and out of the laundry room. Now, I know mass of you guys have came out them same situations and maybe still in them. And the grind and everything it takes to turn it around and become a law-abiding citizen and be there for our loved ones and all that stuff, that's the hardest thing I ever had to do. And I would just say that, if you're here and you're looking, it's worth it, man. Keep fighting for you. Keep fighting for your loved ones, and we deserve our gun rights back. If we've led a law-abiding life and turn things around, we deserve it, and you deserve it. With that being said, the first step you need to do to figure out your eligibility. Now, in the state of Ohio, eligibility is pretty loose. As long as you've made it this far and are looking into getting your gun rights back, chances are you've already had a few years of not breaking the law and, following societal standards. And that's basically all it takes. There's only a handful of crimes that you can commit in the state of Ohio that make you ineligible. And I think basically what it is violence with a firearm. You have to get a gun spec, and I think in multiple different cases to be ineligible. So far as I understand from what I've read in the law, you can get convicted of murder. And if you've got off parole and led a law-abiding life, you have a shot to go in front of a judge and at least plead your case. But first off, the law that you need to look up is in the Ohio Revised Code. It's 2923.14. 2923.14. Google that and it should pop right up as Ohio's Revised Code. And that section talks about all the different stuff. And there's a bunch, it's kind of confusing, section 1, 2, A, B, C. But if you just read it all, you'll find the information you need to know. And the information, like I said, is, there's a handful of crimes you can't commit and led a law-abiding life since release and appears to continue to do so. Now that's pretty hard for people like us, but if you made it this far, keep on grinding. There's a shot. But first, after you've figured out your eligibility, went online and Googled that, figured out your eligibility, the second thing you need to do is call the clerk of courts and ask for the application for relief from firearms disability. Here is my rough draft paper. Application for firearm relief disability. Or you're reading it, you get it. But it just has a section to put what your crime is. And it may look different in your county, but it comes down to, different questions. And it asks here, there's a section where it puts, what, basically, shoot your shot. Why should you be your firearm disability be relieved? And I typed something up and attached it, explaining everything from sobriety to what I did while I was incarcerated. I was a drug addict and alcoholic, and I've been sober since my arrest. And I talked about that whole journey and talked about having the respect of my neighbors and having my own home, my own family, moving up in a career path, all those things. I talked about all that. And in that section, I attached that. And I think that's important to do because there's only a few lines on here, bros. You know what I mean? Number 3, facts showing the applicant is fit for relief. 4 lines. I have way more to say. And I think it's important, dude, that when the prosecutor and the judge are reading this, that they have something to go to say, hey, man, this guy's worth at least listening to. And once you've got that form, the form is free. But to actually file the motion, in my county, Claremont County, is $150. Now, that may vary. I've heard of guys tell me it was different in their counties. And I've heard of guys tell me that when they call the clerk, they have no idea about this form. That could be a thing. They might not have it. And in that case, you would have to file your motion by hand, typing it up yourself. Which, I mean, basically, don't quote me on this. This would be something you have to look into. But to file a motion, you just need to type a letter up and address it to the courts and saying, I'm filing a motion for relief from firearms disability, section revised code dink, and here's why. But look into that a little bit more if that's the case, if they have no idea what this is, or keep asking, say, hey, can I talk to someone else, or call again, or just show up and say, hey, this form exists, here's the law, pull up the law on your phone. It says that we can petition the court. What do I need to do? And if you do get the copies or get the form, or you have to file a motion, whichever, before you actually go and file the motion or after, you just have to do it. You have to take a copy of the motion to the prosecutor's office, which is normally a separate place, and either hand deliver it or by mail, I think. Now, I did mine by mail, and they never got it initially. I had to go to court once, get a continuance, and then come back again. And I think it was because I didn't hand deliver it. I don't know. But I did my part, but I'd say probably hand deliver it, make it all one trip. But it was $150 to file the motion. And once you do that, you can just wait for your response. And they don't have to give you a court date, but I know a couple different people who's done this now, and they've all gotten court dates, and they have all gotten their rights back too. I have a felony 2 robbery where people were harmed. I talked about in the last video. It wasn't some special case, or it was considered more serious rather than less serious. And if you know your law lingo, you know what that means. That basically the sentencing should be higher, or the severity of the crime. But I know for me, it was a process, and I had to have a lot of faith and a lot of worry. But I ended up my gun rights in the end. And I talked about in my last video, passing the NICS. Well, I waited about 90 days before I even attempted. My first thought was I'm going to attempt to buy a gun. My thinking was I was going to get denied, take the denial paperwork, send in this paper, which this is the judgment entry. This is the piece of paper that I got that says from the courts, the courts made a following finding: that a disability exists, that they have to figure that out before they can do this motion. The application file states a conviction of robbery, which upon disability, that the robbery is why I have a disability, no other things, because you have to sort through all that. The defendant has led a law-abiding life since his discharge on this offense. The defendant appears likely to continue a law-abiding life and appears to be fit subject for relief of disability under Section 2923.14 of the revised code. The defendant is not otherwise prohibited from law from acquiring or using a firearm. And then if you look down here, the court finds, blah, 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 Jesse R. Webster shall be granted relief from the disability and shall be restored all civil firearm rights to the full extent enjoyed by any citizen. black and white. Here's the document. I have 10 copies of this. I carry them in every car, everywhere I go, just in case, because I've never actually had a cop pull me up and see what it says. But like I said, I take that paperwork. My thinking was I would take that paper, send it to the feds, have to go back and forth with them, and eventually get the purchase. But and then too, if you frequently get denied, you can file for a U-Pen, which I thought that's what I was gonna have to do. But I've bought 3 firearms since I've been granted relief, and I mean just show you guys. I mean, here's one of them. This is the Stop M70 tactical version. I mean, and then 2 for safety purposes. She's empty. I ordered this offline, had it sent to a FFL, and went and picked it up myself. Now, I did get delayed, but I honestly think that was just because I was close to closing time. I got delayed, and then they called me a couple of days later, said they had a notice to proceed, which means that the feds looked at my shit and seen that there was something, delayed me to further investigate it, and then looked further and seen this document or whatever they see on their computer and said this guy's good to go. And I walked out my firearm. Now, it was a long process, but dude, I got my gun rights back as a felon who's been to prison on a violent offense. Like, I didn't think that shit happened. But I know for me it took everything to be able to turn around, to be able to get to a place when I could go into court and say, you know, here's why. My life, your life, living up to this point when you're in court should be your case or your argument. You know, look how I've been living. I mean, at the time I had been on almost 7 years, and I've had 1 speeding ticket. I mean, it's like night and day previous. I mean, I used to get arrested every other month prior to going to prison this last time. And I don't know, you can do it. I did it. Here I am. If you liked the video, give me a like or whatever. I'd like to make some more videos, more talk about, you know, what it takes as a felon to turn it around and to make those changes necessary. And not just a felon too, just a regular dirtbag, because I knew that's what I was, man. And things are different now. And there's some hope for you. Peace.